What's up, guys? Hey, the last video got so many likes and I got so much feedback on it. Thank you guys so much. Sadly, I think I'm gonna start with the coffee. Yeah, it's a little bit of a health concern. I don't know. Some people aren't too sure about how I am in that last one. So, all right, with that all out of the way, we're gonna talk about compression, and in particular, YouTube compression, after this intro. All right, so I got a couple comments on the last video talking about, hey, what is the resolution that's going on? What are the frame rates with these devices? And I don't know. I honestly have no way of testing it, but I honestly don't care because I've been uploading YouTube videos for a while now, and there's a couple tricks that I've learned and a few things that I've found out about bandwidth. For example, my 1080 resolution videos are about 50 megabits per second. Whereas when you upload a video onto YouTube, the compression drops down to about 8 or 10 megabits per second on a 1080 video. Alright, I'm going to be real with you guys. I don't care about resolution when it comes to streaming devices. I know, crazy, right? I don't know, for me, I always cared about a bit rate, because I noticed when I'd upload videos onto YouTube, the resolution wasn't the greatest, and I sat there forever trying to do some research and figure out why the resolution sucks, and I discovered a big thing called bandwidth. Now, I've always known about bandwidth, but I didn't realize that there was this big old compression thing going on, and YouTube regulates how much bandwidth your video will be able to use based on resolutions and frame rates. So one of the tricks that I discovered is when I record in 1080 resolution, my videos sit about 50 megabits per second. That is a pretty good size file, and I like that high in quality because there's so much more detail. But when you put it onto YouTube, it drops to about 8 or 10 megabits per second depending on frame rate. I think 60 frames per second you get about 15. Yes, 15 for HDR, 12 for standard. But yeah, so for me, when I look into these new streaming devices, it's not so much about the resolution, it's more about the quality that I'm being presented. Honestly, I don't know what is the bandwidth that I'm getting. I could probably measure it, but I don't have the devices to measure how much bandwidth is going to my device. Well, actually I do. Ooh, I should use my modem. No. My wireless router is actually just a wireless access point right now, and it's actually really good at measuring things like that. However, I use my AT&T modem router box as just a router itself and deactivated the wireless connectivity because the wireless connectivity on it sucks. I really need to get some water. So here's a little trick that I learned about uploading my videos onto YouTube. Now I record in about 3840 by 1080 now, right? Which is it's a weird resolution. I have a super ultra wide monitor. Prior to that, it was just 1080. And one of the tricks that I learned is that if I upscale the video to 4K and then upload it, all that detail, a lot of that, well, not all of it, but most of that detail will be retained. Now, one of the big issues is with frame rate, and sometimes the bandwidth for some reason can't keep up when there's a lot of moving objects. I actually realized recently that when I speed up my videos, that the quality decreases significantly because the bandwidth can't keep up with all the constant changing objects. Versus a lossless video, it can. But yeah, so why would I upscale it to 4K? Well, because YouTube compression at 4K is at about 50 megabits per second. Hold on. Yeah, for standard it's about 50 to 60 megabits per second, whereas for HDR it's about 60 to 85 megabits per second. So my lossless 1080 footage actually fits in the YouTube compression of 4K. With that being said, when people talk about resolutions on their TV for Google Stadia or Project xCloud, to me, I don't care because it's not so much about the resolution, it's the amount of bandwidth that's being thrown at it, and that's regulated by the providers. Now, I don't know exactly how much bandwidth those providers are providing. I'm going to assume Project xCloud is providing quite a bit just because of how crystal clear the image was. Stadia, same thing, that the 4K actually didn't look too bad, especially when you have it at the high resolution. But I'm pretty sure they regulate in some form, and I just don't know what that is yet. At some point, I probably have to test it out. I'll have to hook up my internet setup differently so I can measure it. But yeah, that's why I personally don't care so much about resolution and the frame rate. I'm just going off of what my senses are feeling. I'm going off of what my eyes are seeing. And if I see trash, then I'm going to say that it looks like trash. I don't know. I was actually about to record PlayStation Now stuff, But then as I was thinking about it and all the comments that I got, I decided to just talk about bandwidth. And I'm not like an expert by any means, but I think I have a pretty good understanding about it. So I know like I got a lot of comments from people asking me to talk about the resolution and frame rates, and I just decided, you know what? Let's talk about this instead. One of the cool tricks I discovered is if you take 8K resolution and put it on a 1080 monitor, it is mind-blowingly clear. You'll have to try it. Even though you don't have the extra pixel count to make up for it, this is a technique that filmmakers use when they make their movies. They record in like high resolution, high 8K videos. And why would they bother doing that when we're just going to be getting it in Blu-ray, 4K, or most people just stream it in 1080? Well, they do this because when you compress it down, it gives it that extra sharper detail. It doesn't matter what the pixel count is. It matters how clear the image is. I definitely recommend trying 8K on a 1080 monitor. I'm probably, a lot of people are going to be like, this is dumb. But I'm being serious. Like, it was the difference between having a pretty soft line and super sharp. Like, I was mind blown on how many pixels I could count when it was that detailed. It was cool. I liked it. But yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think, because like I said, I know a lot of people out there care about the numbers and stuff, but numbers is only half the thing. Like, I started using X265 compression versus X264, and there's a big difference. The compression ratio is a lot better. It doesn't matter how big the file is or how high the resolution is. It matters on how well they can push that bandwidth, how that compression ratio is. What is the video codec that they're using for these kind of things? That's what matters. I know these video codecs are getting better with lower amounts of data, and that's kind of why I just sit there and I just use my senses. What do I see? Is it looking good? Because I know if a service is bad and they're trying to send a 1080 resolution video to you, it doesn't always look the greatest because maybe they don't have the best video codec. They're pushing too much data through, versus a better service would have a higher end video codec, higher end products that can decode that codec and be able to use lower amounts of bandwidth. But yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think about bandwidth, resolution. Like I said, I'm not an expert or by any means. I just know that it's not so much about the numbers, it's more about what you see. Yeah, guys, I'm going to try and jump into the PlayStation Now review, or start getting it going. I was actually hoping this would be the video for it. I started recording the intro, and as I was sitting there thinking about it, I was like, man, I got so many comments about the resolution and frame rate from Google Stadia and Project xCloud that I was like, maybe I should address this and why I just don't care so much about those kind of things. I don't know. But yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think. I'll try to keep doing more of this, and hopefully sometime next week I'll have the PlayStation Now and the Steam stream review up. And I'll catch you guys in the next Halfcast episode.
I got this, man, I got it. I will not quit, I'm on it. Rapper profit, got the block lit, I'm toxic. Spitting logic, make them nauseous. Honest, can I stop this? Never cautious, drop it. I'm the hardest. Knock, knock, bitch, watch it. I'm the fucking king of rock, bitch.